Today I'm going to a owl meditation. So yeah, come, let's see where we go. It is a 20-minute drive out from where I am. So let's get going, let's talk, let's pod and drive. I wonder if I can actually get projection. Okay, no. Oh, it's 11 minutes past 1. Yay. One. Right, let's talk about this owl meditation while I drive. This is something. Thank you. Okay, we can go. So yeah, this just popped up on my Facebook, interestingly enough, in a local community Facebook group where, you know, people usually hate the world in these groups. It did get a lot of stick because the post was done via AI, but I'm not expecting this place to be so up on their social media game, right? But people in those Facebook groups have just always got some shit to say, right? And anyway, I was just like, owl meditation, that sounds cool. And then I saw that it is actually at a owl, I don't know whether I should say sanctuary or rescue. I'm not 100% sure on the correct terminology off the top of my head, so at some point I'll correct that. But what really excites me about this is, me personally, I have one of my animal totems, guides, one of my many, because I have been an animal communicator, I've been an animal healer, so I work with a lot of animals in totem, spirit, guidance, essence form, and I know the owl is one of mine. And the owl is an energy that is really interesting, because also hawks have been one of mine for a long time, and they really helped shape a lot of my business and some of my frameworks. There's a story that I share quite frequently about how the hawk would visit me constantly to really show me a lot of insights around the work that I was doing at that time. This would have been a few years back now. And the owl really started appearing more the last 2-3 years, very much probably since the end of 2023. And by the owl appearing, I mean seeing owls online, the imagery coming up, the card, like I have animal cards that I use on the regular basis, and they came up really regularly in there. And like on one of the cards that I have, it's a beautiful white kind of snowy owl, I think it's even wearing a crown, if I'm remembering that correctly. And it's about seeing clearly now, because the hawk has great vision and the owl has that vision within the night, right? And it is nocturnal, praying in the evenings, in the nighttime. And over the last couple of years is where I have had a lot more hearing and even seeing owls out the back of my house. So my home, it backs out onto a old graveyard, which is a woodland area essentially. And yes, there are graveyards at the back of my house. Facing that back fence, they were buried in the 1800s. Actually not that old for the UK, right? But relatively old. But the woodland area there is a owl that lives there. There's also another owl that we know that there's two because they communicate with each other. But I have seen and witnessed, and I will often like wake up in the night and be woken up by the owl and things like that. So the owl is really an important energy for me. It comes through with really powerful insight and messages. It's very much a wisdom piece. It's about trusting your intuition and trusting your wisdom. I really see it as trusting your wisdom through multiple lifetimes and the energy and the frequency that you've brought through into this lifetime, which is really prominent for some of the work that I'm currently doing for myself. And actually I had a wonderful, very long session with somebody yesterday where I was going through some of my past lives and talking about how I can go through different times and dimensions in all of my lives essentially. And I was like, oh, there's no coincidence that I'm then working with some owls today. But yeah, I'm really excited for today. Essentially, it was just positioned as come for meditation, have a cup of tea, very British, herbal teas, I believe. And you can also then see the birds in their aviary. And I did check, I said, are we meditating amongst them, because I don't know the setup here. I don't know what it is like. Like, I'm not seeing it as something where they'll get the owls out or stuff like that, but just being within their presence, and that's totally fine for me. I mean, I absolutely love working and meditating with animals. I quite often do it with JC, who, whilst I'm doing this, is with my mum in the garden right now, which is lovely. She'll be enjoying herself doing that. But even yesterday, I worked with JC's energy and saw how she'd been in multiple lives with me. In one of my Celtic lives, she was a wolf, and she protected my tribe. And we'll go really woo. In another life, me and her interchanged between dragon and fairy. And I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed seeing that yesterday. So I'm really interested to see what will come up with the owl and what the owl messages really have to share. And I've just realized I'm in the wrong lane. That's totally fine. So yeah, really excited to see what comes up and what it brings up, if anything, right? It could just be a really cool experience, or it could be that I get to go all the way down into this woo-woo rabbit hole. And yeah, let's see what comes up. As is pretty typical for me, I wasn't great at filming once we were inside. But if you are watching this on the video, you can actually see this space here. And this is what they call the owl garden. So they have the aviaries around the outside. And this is actually where we were meditating in the middle on the grass. And she is bringing out one of the birds here. This is Otis, and he is huge, but he is beautiful, and he was so vocal. So whenever during the meditation it was asked to notice the owl or that the owl is calling, like, he would hoot. It was like so divinely timed, and it was beautiful. And I'm also going to show here the barn owl, and I will talk about this in the next section when I'm on my way home, where I'm sharing details. But this was the owl that ended up being with us and flying around during the meditation. And oh my gosh, isn't he beautiful? Okay, so owl time done. It's been a couple of hours in there. I've met some really great owls, and the meditation was totally fine. It was lovely. I'm very specific in my meditations, but she was really good. She oh, just pulled out in front of a car. Sorry, what you gonna do? So here we go. Let's just get out onto the main road, and then we can talk. Boop, 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 boop. So yeah, we did some saging first. So she cleansed us, like, separate away from the birds in there. Kind of, it's like these aviaries around in a square, and then there's a garden in the middle, which is lovely. And I'm so glad that a woman next to me had told me that she'd been there before and she'd done a meditation there before, and that they brought the owls out when they were meditating, because lo and behold, the owls come out in the meditation. And mid-meditation, all of a sudden, I felt something hit my head. And if she hadn't have told me that owls come out, I don't know what I would have thought that was. So that was fun, and it got me again. And it's really interesting because, well, the owl didn't interact with anybody else in that way, but I was blessed twice with 2 bops of the wing to the head. I also at one point opened my eyes and saw a grasshopper on the floor, which is also another thing that's been like coming up recently for me. There's been lots happening with lots of animals, insects, essentially animal spirit messages. And I'm someone who's worked with animals for a long time, so I'm used to these things. But like, seeing the grasshopper was really beautiful because, one, it's insane that there's a grasshopper bouncing around when there's like owls flying around and other birds are in the area. But yeah, recently I saw a couple after some real deep work that I'd been doing through some breath work and some somatic-y stuff that I'd been doing, and then saw a couple in my garden. And I remember actually saying like, oh, I haven't seen a grasshopper for ages. Like, it wasn't something I had seen all the time. So I was like really surprised at that. And that was probably last week. So to see one today mid that, and there was also multiple butterflies that were flying around at different times as well, which one of them kind of floated down near me. And this morning I had a butterfly that was on, like, my front door has got a big glass pane, and there was a butterfly on the outside, like looking into the house, which was also lovely. So I'm used to sort of seeing them flying around in the garden, but to see one this morning like at the door was a real nod from the universe, a real like yes, confirmation that these are these signs, symbols and messages. But it was really, really powerful to see these owls and to hear the stories of where they're coming from and how this place is working with them. It was just really nice to kind of be there and experience that. So yeah, it's been a really fun experience. They obviously don't do it very frequently. I think they've got like one more this season because it's outside. So we had a little bit of rain, we had a little bit of sun, we had a little bit of everything. But I'll take it, like, to be able to like experience that and be hit on the head by a barn owl twice. And that's the only white owl that they've got there, which I think I'd said earlier that I think that I've got a white owl who is my guide. And when I was younger, I was obsessed with barn owls. They're stunning. We have quite a few out here in Norfolk here, and I've seen them out in the wild. I've seen them early mornings when I'm walking JC sometimes, especially out near the coast, which you wouldn't necessarily think they'd be near the coast, but there's certain areas where I'm walking on the coast that it's like their hunting ground, like early on. It's really good. But yeah, it's a really nice experience. Great to see them up close in that way. There was one who was just so talkative and just beautiful, like a real big boy. But yeah, I've really enjoyed the experience, and I just love being close to animals in that way. Where they are, they've got like they've got llamas out there. There's lots going on out there, lots of other different types of birds as well, which was beautiful to see and witness. So a lovely experience to be able to just sit with that, and I'm excited to see kind of what comes from it now in terms of, I feel like I'll continue to get owl messages and really connect into the spirit of the owl, because yeah, this didn't personally give me that experience of like connecting in with the owl in that way. But I will say this, it's not designed for someone who is all the way down the woo rabbit hole like me, who can connect into animals in that way. So it's designed for more of a beginner meditator and to experience that. So I will now take up the mantle to connect more with owl spirit, with my totem owl spirit, and really lean into the messages that owl has about intuition and seeing clearly and wisdom and trust. And just, yeah, I will say this, they're so majestic, they're so beautiful, so powerful. So I'm really honored to have done that experience. Right, I am just putting this video together and editing it up, and I did some kind of connecting dots yesterday in terms of owls, and a friend of mine actually mentioned when I said about this specific owl, and she was like, I'm pretty sure there's something with the goddess Lakshmi and an owl, and it turns out that it is specifically a barn owl. So it is really such a blessing that this owl chose to kind of interact with me physically in that way, with those beautiful bops to the head. And I'll take it, because I work with goddesses all the time. So I'm going to take that as an absolute nod to start working with Lakshmi in a deeper way, which I haven't for a little while, and really tap into that kind of abundance, because yeah, how powerful, what a magical experience that I got to go down. I will say this, last night I know that I was dreaming of owls. I definitely saw owls in my dream. I can't 100% remember everything, but there was definitely interaction, and it really actually wove into the healing work that I'd done the day before as well. So I think it's all so divinely timed, and what a wonderful message. Not only is it intuition, not only is it kind of wisdom that we know with these owls, it is prosperity and abundance as well. And yeah, I feel so grateful that the owl specifically chose me. I'm a little bit frustrated at myself that I didn't video myself, because I had the intention of putting the camera in front of me and it would have caught the owl hitting me twice, but perhaps that would have deterred the situation, and also it was raining, so I didn't really want to do that. But oh, how magical. I really hope that you've enjoyed this. This is me trying something a little bit different here. And granted, I'm not someone that goes out and about and does these kind of out in the wild experiences all the time, but what a wonderful one to try. So thank you for joining me. And yeah, if you love this, then comment below and let me know.